Hey Malcolm, what have you been up to?
Oh, mate, mate, yeah, same old story, mate. Just farming stuff, mate. Yeah, just farming stuff. Yeah, yeah, mate. Just doing the same old things day in day out, mate. That's what farming's all about, really, mate. Yeah. Tell you what, though, farming's a dangerous game, mate. Oh yeah, mate. Had a couple of close calls over the last few weeks, mate. I can tell you. Yeah, yeah. What happened was, well, see, mate, what happened was, farming's sort of a game where you've got to have a bit of diversity, mate, because their markets are up and they're down and they're all over the place, So if you specialise and you just have, sheep, well, then the wool price might go down and you're done like a dinner, mate, So I haven't done that. I'm very diversified, I've got cattle, I've got sheep, and chooks and ducks, mate, a few geese. And I grow sort of wheat and corn and a bit of sorghum, mate. So, I got a fair bit of diversity going there, and I got the homestays where the farmers, where, city people come to stay at the farm, get a bit of a look in on what farm life's like, But I've also got this paddock way up the top of a hill, a bit of steep country, a bit of bush paddock really, and it's not good for the cattle or the sheep or anything, I thought, well, what can I use that for, And I thought, well, how about goats, mate? Mate. So anyway, I thought, yeah, I'll get some goats. So to do that, I need to build some fences. So I went up there with a dozer, mate. I got this sort of Fiat, whole Fiat, 70 CI or something like that. Anyway, not a bad old bus, mate, Anyway, I go up there, and there's a track that goes up to this paddock, and there's a bit of a track, I said, oh, I'll just build a fence pretty well where that track goes. But I wanted to sort of clear it along, I wanted to get rid of all the muck and bushes and things. Anyway, I'm going along, there was a bit of a washaway, a bit of a rut in the road, in the track, and I'm just going along. Well, what I didn't know, mate, was the water had come down into that washaway and made that rut. But then it had gone, made a tunnel. It had gone under the ground, mate, and come out further down. Well, I didn't know that, and I'm going along, pushing a bit of rubbish out of the way, and then suddenly the dozer, it falls in, and the whole ground collapses, and whoa, we're down, mate. Went down about 45 degrees, mate, and I thought, geez, I'm going over here, mate. I dropped the blade, dropped the rippers, mate, stabilised her a bit, she stopped. I thought, geez, that was a close call, mate, yeah. Could have been a squashed Malcolm there, mate. I could have been, At any rate, mate.
How'd you get the dozer out of that hole?
Oh, well, mate, that's another story, mate. Getting the dozer out, I can tell you. Now, this old Fiat's got really good hydraulics, mate. Really good hydraulics, So what I did was I chainsawed up some logs that were round about, just got some logs. I lifted the blade a bit and the rippers a bit, put the logs under that and then dropped them. And then raised the machine. The whole dozer comes up, as the rippers and the blade goes down, So then I could get some logs and everything under the side where there was a big hole. And that pretty well stabilised the bugger, Then I just drove the bugger out. Yeah. It was a bit, iffy, mate, but it was all right. I managed it, yeah. Got her out, yeah. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm ready to build a fence, mate, And an old schoolmate of mine has sort of come to stay, catch up on old tales and old things, mate, And anyway, he comes along, and so I'm going to put him to work, mate. That's what I decided to do, put him to work. And anyway, I've got this old trailer. It's an old wooden, sort of like the back end of a truck, tray of a truck, with the diff and the wheels and what have you, and a wooden trailer. And I hooked that to the bulldozer, mate. Hooked that to the dozer. And piled all the fence posts, wire and star pickets, chainsaw, everything we needed to build a fence onto the trailer, mate, Hook it to the dozer. Now, it hooks to the dozer with a great big pin. Oh, the bugs are out, mate, Great big pin, and I sort of hook it to the dozer, no rocket science here, mate, And so we're going up the hill, and Now my mate, he's sitting on the trailer, right? His legs are dangling, and he's sitting, and the dozer's just there, right in front of him. And he's sitting on the trailer, and then the trailer's behind with all the stuff. Now, luckily, luckily, we loaded everything forward, you know, of the axle. You know. Well, mate, that pin breaks. Bing! It went off, mate, you know. And so the trailer, it goes down the hill, mate, at a great rate of knots. It's bouncing and coming apart, and the fence posts are going everywhere, chainsaw, the whole lot, mate. They're going everywhere, mate, everywhere, I can tell you. Anyway, but me mate, he just stood up. He just literally stood up. And it all went out from under him, mate, you know. But see, that could have been a totally different outcome there, mate, you know. Could have had a splattered mate. Anyway, so there was a couple of close calls we had, you know, and took us best part of a day to sort of get all the fence posts, wire and everything sort of from where it all bounced down the hill and sort of get it back, you know, so that we could use it again. And then we're sitting on the hill, mate, having some lunch, you know, and we got a bit philosophical, mate, you know. You know, when you have a close call like that, you start sort of wondering whether you sort of lived life to the fullest, if you can, you know. Well, my mate starts going on about holidays, mate, you know. Holidays, mate, you know. Everyone likes their holidays, mate. Well, farmers don't get to have holidays much. I tell you what, mate, I don't know what the attraction is to a holiday. So what do you do when you go on a holiday? What do you do? Well, you go somewhere and you stay in a motel. Mate, now have you ever been in a decent motel? I haven't, mate. I sat in a bed in a motel one time, mate, you know. I went to a sheep trial one time and I went to a motel. I sat on the edge of the bed. Well, the mattress come up, the buddy hit me in the side of the head, mate. Oh, mate, talk about uncomfortable. You know, and then, you know, I reckon that that TV show, Fawlty Towers, you ever watch that show, you know? With that tall, skinny, lanky guy in it, that Pommy guy? Yeah. Now, I reckon that show, that's not a comedy, mate. That's an instructional video for motel owners. Because that's how they all seem to be to me, mate, you know. So you got to stay in motels. That's the first downer about holidays, mate. Yeah? And next thing's the tucker, mate. Mate, now if you go on a holiday, what are you going to be eating? Hey? You're going to be eating takeaway food, mate. For the whole week or 2 weeks you're away, takeaway food for that long? Oh, mate. Oh, mate. That's awful. And some people say, oh, they love to go to the restaurants, mate. Restaurants? You ever been to a restaurant, mate? Oh, firstly, they don't cook anything, mate. They sort of wave it over the flame and, you know, that bit of steak's still wriggling, mate. Then they love to put a bit of steak in something and let it soak overnight, mate. They call it marinating. Oh my goodness, how to ruin a good bit of steak that is, mate. Oh, all these awful flavours that get put in. It's like eating something the dog dragged in, mate, you know. Mate. And then what do you do when you're on a holiday? You go around and you look at the scenery, mate. You look at a view. You go up some lookout and you look out over a valley and you look out over the ocean and you look at a view. Well, here me and me mate are having lunch on the side of my hill, looking out over the whole valley, mate. We've got the best view you can get. So why would I want to go on a holiday? I've got it all right where I am, mate. Yeah, so, at any rate, that's been my adventures for the last few weeks, mate. Anyway, I better be on my way and let you get on with your filming, and I'll probably see you around.